How's the morning on tour?
The morning, oh God, mornings on tour is something that, this is about the first morning that we've done on the whole tour so far, because all your times get shunted forward, so you go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and you don't get up till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's very rock and roll.
So it's about middle of the night for you right now.
Yes, a little bit early, yeah. This is like the middle of the night. This is a bit of an early one because today we're doing the DVD and we have to get in very early. We've got all the equipment in and get that all set up, get sound checked. There's 2 other bands as well, so we've got to get done early in the day. We'll be done here by about 12:30, and then when we're done we can go back to bed. So,
are you still nervous before the gig?
Yeah, really badly. Not as much as I was maybe 3 years ago, when you have a long gap away. We have like from '96 to 2001, we have 5 years not doing very much at all, and then we have from 2001 to 2005 another 4 years where we didn't do very much. But then we went out on tour in 2006. We've done many shows, so that coming back to it this time is actually a lot easier. Yes, much easier, but there's still a lot of tension, there's a lot of things that need to be done, but we've got a good crew and I know that they'll get everything done. We've made DVDs here before, so the guys who are involved in this whole show, very professional, very good, everything runs very kind of smoothly, I hope, fingers crossed, touch wood. That's metal, oh my goodness, where's some wood? Ah! That's wood.
Pendragon is one of the longest surviving bands of so-called neo-progressive rock genre, and I was wondering, you being the main engine of the band, how the music changed you in person?
I don't think the music's changed me. I've changed the music, which I suppose has probably, what I've listened to and the influences, the kind of music I've liked over the last 30 years has changed. So anything you hear becomes an influence. So, if you listen to a band back in 1970s, like the bands that I started out with, bands like T-Rex and the early 70s bands, they were an influence then. Maybe they're not so much an influence now. So that shapes the way the future goes.
Do you listen to a lot of new music right now?
Yeah, I do. Not so much. I don't really get much chance to listen to an awful lot. People think that I can sit there listening to tons and tons and tons of progressive rock. Well, I don't. I actually like stuff which is completely different from progressive rock. I occasionally, I hear sort of new bands that I really like, or a new style that I really like. There's a couple of bands from the new metal era that I really thought, not that I necessarily am a big fan of those bands, but I thought that sound could be very interesting, married with some of the stuff that we do, which was more of the progressive side of things, and I thought maybe we could have that made Pendragon then develop. We moved forward into something else. Particularly with the last album, you can see that influence is very much there, and we've tried to do something which is different. You've got to progress, because otherwise you're just repeating the same thing, and I think there's a lot of bands out there, and one of the reasons why we have survived is that we've embraced change quite well. Usually because we've had nothing to lose. So, at a time when things have been not so good for us, we've had a very close look at what we're all about musically, and then surfaced out of that to come up with something new and different.
How's the morning?
It's okay, now I'm woken up. Yeah, it's just interesting, you've got a bit of a building site outside at the moment, so trying to get from the bus to the theatre was a bit sort of, difficult, but we're okay now.
How different is the morning on the day that DVD is recorded from casual day on tour?
Have to start earlier. That's really the main thing. Apart from that, it should be the same as any other day. I mean, we set the gear up, sound check, and off we go. And it's always nice to play here. Played here quite a few times now. So as long as there's plenty of people here, I'm sure it'll be a great gig.
How many DVDs you exactly recorded here? Do you remember?
This is my 9th DVD for Metal Mind. This is the 7th one I've done here. So yeah, plenty of them really. I get to keep the theatre when I get to number 10.
Okay, so what's the price for the theatre? Do you know it now?
What, the price?
Yes.
I'd love to know what the price for the theatre. I could have it myself. That'd be great on a permanent basis. I like this theatre. It's great.
You'll be quite a good manager in here.
Yes, well, it would certainly have lean towards a certain kind of music, wouldn't it?
I think when we first started out, as we say in England, we were cutting our teeth, with touring. We were trying to improve. I mean, we were very young. I think we were about sort of 18, 19 years old when we first started playing, quite 20 maybe, quite a lot of gigs. And to actually go and play gigs when you haven't had very much experience means that there's an awful lot of scope that you've got to try and cover. Stuff like stage presence, stuff like just presenting the band, the songs that we were playing. I think it wasn't really till the sort of middle of the 80s that we started to find it a little bit easier to play live. But again, every era kind of changes there again now. I mean, I think now we've honed our craft quite well and we know what we're doing. So, when we go out on stage, we have a certain kind of impact with an audience. We're not kind of, we're not just sort of like sullenly looking at our shoes while we're playing, or we're trying to. Which I still feel this. I feel more aggressive about this now than I did when we started, because I still feel hungry for it, to really do great shows and to make great albums. That's still really important to me, so I really want to put in 100% when we do something. I want it to be as good as it can be. Otherwise, it's not worth doing. I don't want to do something which is just okay.
How's the tour going?
Fantastic, yeah, it's been brilliant so far. All the venues have been nearly sold out and the album's going really, really well, and yeah, it's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it.
It's your last gig on this tour in Poland?
I think so, yeah, I have to check on my list. Yeah, this is the last one tonight, and we record a DVD tonight, and then we move on to Czech Republic. I think we go next.
Being a fresh member of the group, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. It feels amazing. Just to play with these guys is a dream come true. It really is. They've been going for so many years, and there's so much history, and it's been a dream. It's been a dream.
I mean, the first show that we ever played was, it was on the day that I left school. So I think I finished school, came home with all my books, and I burnt those, and I packed my guitar up and went off to the first show, which was, it was a place called the Marshall Rooms in Stroud, which is a really pretty horrible little club, but it was a great local place for people to go and hear rock bands play. And we played a lot of cover versions, stuff like Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. What else were we? All Right Now by Free. It was all that kind of stuff. We didn't have any of our own material at all at that point.
It's quite early, because when you're on tour you usually get up about lunchtime, about 1 o'clock, so it's a little bit early, but it's nice to have an early morning. Good to be here, back in Katowice.
It's going to be your 5th DVD here, 6th one?
It's about, 5th, I think, 5th. Since we did 2 last time.
Do you still feel any pressure before the recordings?
You always get a little bit nervous, a bit of a flutter in your stomach, but that's natural. That's part of performing. It's, it gets the adrenaline flowing. So we look forward to doing a good show, hopefully.
Do you have any idea how many gigs you did already? Over 30 years?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it could have been a lot more. Well, that's all I can say. We could have done more because there were some periods of time where, we didn't do very much. I mean, from the period of sort of 1986 all the way through to 91, we didn't do very many shows. Or the period of time from 96 to 2001, there weren't very many. And sort of 2002 up to 2005. There were these kind of 3 or 4 year chunks where we didn't do many shows, where I think we should have, because we would have kept the following going. But also it's a bit of a double-edged sword, that, because I think if you play live too much, people get fed up with you. And if you kind of retract and you come out with a different style album in a different kind of way, and then you think about touring, you're coming out with something new. So, maybe it's best not to keep touring all the time. But, we like playing live, and, we like, at the moment, we like doing this a lot. It's great. Best gig. I mean, there's been quite a few. I mean, the first time we ever played in Holland on our own, which was a place called the Paradiso, because for years and years we've been trying to build up in the UK and trying to build a following there, and then to suddenly go to Europe, and then that night, suddenly there's 1,000 people there, and it was just incredible, really, really great reaction. And that was the beginning of starting to play more in Europe. But I mean, there's been so many shows. I mean, the one we used to play at the Marquee a lot, and that, as we were talking a minute ago, I mean, that was a fantastic place to play. You could have a really bad tour, but at the end of the tour, if you did the Marquee, you knew it was going to be fantastic. So that was always a very good gig. But there's so many. I mean, we played in, I've said this so many times before, I mean, Zabrze, when we played in Zabrze, that was just like a religious experience, because people got on the stage with us, and, we played the whole set again, and it was an incredible thing. It'd like coming to Europe for the first time and playing in Holland. This was like first coming to a country that's the first time we'd ever been to a former Eastern Bloc country, and saw the enthusiasm of people. So that was kind of very new as well. So that was great too.
Is there any gig you would like to rather forget?
There's plenty of those. Actually, there's not all that many. I mean, we've had a couple which, I suppose as time's gone on, you sort of try to embrace the bad ones, because the bad, maybe if you haven't played so well, it's telling a little voice in your head that you've got to really think about what you're doing for the following night. So, you kind of have to embrace that and take it the way it is. And that's what I believe you can get something quite positive out of having, I mean, I'm not saying out of bad shows, because no one wants bad shows. But, if you have like one odd show, it kind of wakes you up a bit. If you have one odd show that's bad, it can wake you up. Oh, we've had a few. We had one in a place called Wishaw, Heathery Bar in just outside Glasgow, where we just finished the gig, and a huge fight broke out, and people were breaking off table legs and hitting each other, and there's glasses going flying everywhere. and it took about half an hour for the police to turn up. So that was pretty scary. We've had a few like that. We played the Agricultural College in Cirencester. I think it was probably about 1981. And some kids in the rugby club got extremely drunk and tried to drive a car into the venue. And they got up on stage as well and started hassling us. So at that particular, in fact, funnily enough, that place is only about 2 miles from where I live now. But these kids got on stage and they started messing around and everything. So we just turned all the amplifiers flat out and played Johnny Be Good. And it just kind of, they couldn't hear what they were doing. It just blew them off stage then. So that was quite a good one. But that one worked out all right in the end. But I can't put it down as one of my favourite ever gigs. Garderoba, which means something in Polish. And Pendragon, that's us. Here is our... Oh, here we are, here's Chop. Come in here. This is Chop, our driver for the tour.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry. You all right, Chop? Yeah. And he does the... he drives the coach. And in here you can see our rider all laid out before us. It's meats and cheeses. I'll tell you, if you go on tour, that is all you ever have for lunch. Meats and cheeses. Look, salami. You always get salami. That's quite popular. Cheese, which is now being called. It's now just called gig cheese because it's just easiest. Everyone knows. Oh yeah, gig cheese. That's the cheese you get. Usually, no flavour at all, none whatsoever. It's sort of like, it's more like plastic than cheese, really. And then you get these over here. Now this is new. You don't usually get this. This is quite different. We've only had this in Poland, which is really, I really like these. These are good. Little tubs of salads. You've got your potato salads, your vegetable salads there, and they're nice. But you can see we've got about 100 weight of that. So. Got coffee, you've got your loads of different breads. That's probably for the whole meal fans. A little bit of salad just to keep you healthy. Cucumbers, tomatoes. But this is what happens. This is what drives me nuts. These are quite good ones actually. I'll say that. It's plates like this, right? Plates. You put things on them, right? You've got your salami, you've got your cheese, you've got your tomato, you've got a pile of that, and it goes like that. And that's on the floor, right? All over the floor. You think, oh, crikey, what now? You clear most of it away, and then someone comes in with socks, walks in it like that, and then they're going on stage with it all in their shoes. These are all the little things that people don't see when they see the band come on stage. But most times bands are going on stage with coleslaw in their shoes. You wouldn't know it. It's doing a job, eh? They do.
Probably.
You got a few things over here. This is the water, bit of Red Bull. We had that every night, I think, for the first 6 gigs. But then we felt so wired like that we couldn't play properly, so we stopped drinking that. Makes Scott drum really fast if he does that. A few chocolate bars, a few biscuits, we get a bit of fruit juice, all good. And that's it. That's the rider. That's the Pendragon dressing room. You see, a lot of these places are really old buildings like this. You know, it's kind of, I don't know how far this dates back to, but you know, there's kind of a real old feel about this. I don't know what sort of, it feels like a sort of 1950s sort of place, but you can see Katowice are all happening out there as well, so they can look in and see what we're doing.
What is the tour routine for Pendragon?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a netherworld. I mean, most people, if they've done a flight somewhere, a long-haul flight, they'll get an idea of how it feels. You know, every day is like arriving at a destination where, you know, you're really tired And little things make an awful lot of difference. Like if you can get a shower, you can get something to eat, and if you can get some good sleep, it really, really counts. It makes a lot of difference. I mean, so far on this tour, I've actually found this one quite good going. We've been playing some long sets as well. We haven't had a day off yet. Everything, my throat's been okay so far, which is good. Some of the sets we've been playing for 2.5 hours, and that's a long time on stage, every single night. So, yeah, actually, sort of physically, I think we're all kind of managing to handle this tour quite well. I mean, you know, we're taking loads of vitamin C and loads of echinacea and stuff like that. So, I mean, you get a cold on a tour bus and it just goes round everybody. Everyone gets ill, which is really horrible. But the routine, you know, you arrive at the venue sort of any time between 7 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock in the morning. You get breakfast at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it's straight on to sound check, do the sound check, then usually it's dinner at about 5, 6 o'clock, and rest for a couple of hours, just do a few bits and pieces, and then you're on stage. But it's a great feeling. I mean, after you come off stage, go and have your shower, have a little bit of Jack Daniels, you're all relaxed and everything. It's like doing a sport, you know, if you can imagine, like, I don't know, going jogging or something like that, that feel that you get, you know, where you feel really elated and suddenly the world feels really right. You know, that's what it's like after playing a gig. It's a very powerful feeling. And, you know, you feel very kind of friendly with everyone in the band, gets on well, and it's very good fun. There's good camaraderie as well, so it's great.
Do widzenia.
I mean, no, isn't it?
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Here he is,
Father.
the big bear of rock music. He's a Tommy. Stand up, Tommy. Come on, you said you'd be in the video. Yeah, come on, stand up. This is Tommy Jabinski. He's massive. He's coming on stage to play a song with us tonight.
Are you sure?
But we've been trying to get him to practice his guitar pose. But he can't do it. Go on, have a try. Yeah, go. See, there you go. Yeah, he's better at using one of those than he is a guitar, really. You're right.
Absolutely fine.
Ow! I can't play now.
It will be a 5th DVD recorded in Poland.
The logistics here make it possible to do. You know, so from a technical point of view, you know, we know Tommy, the promoter, he puts on the shows. You know, it's a very professional team here. You know how it's going to work. And we can't afford to just go and do a DVD somewhere else because it costs so much money to make a DVD. So, you know, to do that would be quite difficult. And it's great to be able to come somewhere where it's possible to make them.
Jesteśmy ciekawi, jak wygląda realizacja DVD z technicznego punktu widzenia.
No więc dostaję od szefa Metal Mindu wcześniej muzykę. Płyty, całe setlisty z utworami, które będą wykonywane podczas koncertu. Każdy utwór rozpisuje, taktuje, rozpisuje na gitary, na poszczególne instrumenty i przyporządkowuje do tego kamery. Następnie przyjeżdża wóz transmisyjny. Generalnie są to realizacje 6, 7, 8 kamerowe. I na próbie sprawdzam, czy te ustawienia, które sobie wymyśliłem gdzieś tam na papierze, słuchając wcześniej muzyki, sprawdzają się, ewentualnie koryguję poszczególne ujęcia. No i potem 3 live'y, 2 koncerty, 1 koncert, realizacja 6-7 kamer, no i tworzymy całość. Potem oczywiście to jeszcze idzie do montażu i po takich wstępnych montażach jeszcze się wycina zbędne rzeczy i powstaje gotowa płyta.
The crowd's always good in Poland. You know, it just all lines up to be the right thing to do. You know, you could go and record a DVD somewhere like, I mean, you could do another great show somewhere like Paris. It would be fantastic to record a DVD there. But, you know, something screws up with the technical side of it. You know, it could be £20,000. You've just gone down the drain because someone forgot to plug a thing in. You know, these are the kind of problems that happen. But, you know, we know with these guys, they're going to pretty well get it right. For this particular set, we wanted to play a lot of new material that we did not play on the last tour. And also, we wanted to play about 20 minutes from the new album. We've got a new drummer, Scott, so he could only learn so much material. He's already learned 4 hours of material. And I was still finishing off the lyrics for Pure when we were rehearsing the set, so we would like to have played Indigo as well from the new album, but there just wasn't time to rehearse it because it's quite a complicated song to do live. So we thought we'd do the kind of more rocky stuff, so stuff like a Razorhead, stuff like Freak Show, but we'll also do It's Only Me because I think there's a good sentiment in that song and a good emotion which comes over in a very short space of time, so it's quite powerful. But we really wanted to play stuff that was not going to be on the last, that wasn't on the last DVDs, you know, stuff that's going to be different.